समझ नहीं आ रहा अपने सैलरी इंक्रीमेंट का क्या करूं।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स के एसआईपी का टॉप अप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
क्या समझ में नहीं आया?
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स का एसआईपी टॉपअप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
अब समझा।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Take a close look at the picture on your screen. There are 7 faces on the screen. We let this picture be there for some time so you can see these carefully. Also, read the names, their titles, and familiarize yourselves. This is the Central Military Commission of the Communist Party of China. Communist Party of China owns the nation in a way because it's a party state. It's a party-run country, party-run state, party-run country. Also, China, as we had explained in our episode 1562, is a country where the military belongs to the party. Military's loyalty command, first of all, belongs in the party. The party controls the military. It's not the president, it's not the executive office, any executive office. This party control is exercised through a party body called the Central Military Commission, CMC. This had 7 members. Now, if you see this picture again, you see crosses on 5 of these cases. 5 out of 7. We could have headlined this story when they were 7 and then they were 2. What's happened over time is this is just about a year and a half that 5 of the 7 have been either expelled or purged, which is what happens in communist systems, or prosecuted. The latest of these is the most powerful of them. That was Zhang Youxia, General Zhang Youxia, 75 years old. Remember, he was given an extension beyond the usual retirement age of 70. He was there. He was also personally friends with Xi Jinping. Their fathers, his father and Xi Jinping's father, they had fought under Mao Zedong in the Chinese Revolutionary War. They knew each other since then. To that extent, these two are veterans of the Communist Party. They are also princelings, as they are called in the Chinese system, because their fathers were also leaders of consequence, mostly in the Mao era. This break between Xi Jinping and Zhang Youxia, of course, Zhang Youxia is the one who's been thrown out. This expulsion or this removal of Zhang Youxia, and now it's been made clear, in fact, it's been announced that he's under investigation for many alleged misdemeanors, including, if you believe the story in the Wall Street Journal, and usually Ling Lingwei is a very reliable correspondent out of China, then it looks like he's also being charged among many other things, including corruption from the era when he used to be the head of the Military Acquisitions Department, and even before that, between 2007 and 12, when he was leading the Shenyang area of the armed forces. It goes back till then. Those are corruption charges. But the most important charge now, this one has not been officially stated by the Chinese government. This is a Wall Street Journal story. And they say that they have it based on a briefing that the Chinese authorities gave to their top generals and security people last Saturday. It's a leak from there. There they say that General Zhang Youxia, one of the most favored generals in the Chinese system, the son of a revolutionary general, he is accused, allegedly, he's accused, that is according to the Wall Street Journal story, he is accused of leaking secrets on technologies related to Chinese nuclear program to, lo and behold, who? But the Americans. If that is true, this must be the greatest coup that the CIA has carried out in a very, very, very long time. However, there is no confirmation for that. What we know is that Zhang Youxia was vice chairman of the Central Military Commission. Alongside him, one more member of the Central Military Commission, that is General Lian Zhenli, he was the chief of the Joint Staff Department of the Central Military Commission. These two have gone. Besides these two, 3 more have been removed in the recent past, including Li Shangfu, who was defense minister. In fact, Rajnath Singh had negotiated with him in the course of normalization of the situation in Ladakh. Then Miao Hua. Miao Hua was director of Central Military Commission's Political Work Department. Then He Wei-dong was also CMC vice chairman. He's also been removed. So who remains now? The only one who now survives is General Jiang Shengmin. He is actually the junior most of the CMC members. He was elevated to the CMC only last October, that is October 2025. Among the reported allegations against Zhang Youxia is also that he took money for promotions and appointments within the armed forces. And you know what? He's also been allegedly accused. I know that this is a very convoluted formulation, allegedly accused, because these are not confirmed information. These are not things that Chinese government has said as yet. But this is widely believed, and international media is reporting that he's also accused of having taken a bribe for promoting somebody to the rank of defense minister. That somebody in this case could probably be Li Shangfu, who's already been in the doghouse. I had just mentioned that to you. So once again, let me explain to you these 5 worthies who've now been removed in fairly recent time by Xi Jinping. So his Central Military Commission, at this point, only 2 remain, that is Xi Jinping himself and Jiang Shengmin, the junior most general, whose name I just mentioned to you. So look at the 5 who've been removed. Number 1, Zhang Youxia, the senior most vice chairman, ousted now, is under investigation. This was announced on Jan 24. He attended the 4th plenum of the current Central Committee of the party last year, in October 2025. Then He Wei-dong was vice chairman also. He was expelled from the party on October 25, just last October 25. He was absent at the October plenum. Then Li Shangfu, again former defense minister, expelled in June 2024. Obviously did not attend the plenum. Number 4, Li Zhenli, who's under investigation. He's just been removed. He attended the last plenum. And then Miao Hua, who was purged from Central Military Commission on June 25 last year, did not attend the plenum. That Zhang has been removed is not a whisper. It's not a secret. It's not a whisper. It's been formally announced. And People's Liberation Army, PLA Delhi, has also given its editorial explanation on it. The justification or reasoning for the removal of Zhang and Liu, that was stated by PLA Delhi, People's Liberation Army Delhi, in an editorial, and I quote directly from the editorial, and I quote, seriously trampled on and undermined the system of ultimate responsibility resting with the CMC chairman, that is Xi Jinping, severely fueled political and corruption problems that threaten the party's absolute leadership over the armed forces. Remember, it's the party that controls the armed forces. And undermine the party's governance foundation, gravely tarnished the image and authority of the CMC leadership, and severely damaged the political and ideological foundation of unity and progress among all military personnel, and inflicted grave harm on efforts to strengthen political loyalty in the military's political environment and overall combat readiness, posing a serious adverse impact on the party, the country, and the military. This is almost like a sentencing of these two. I think after this, the investigations, trial, etc., will be naam ka vaste, because this is a condemnation purely in the old-fashioned communist style. What's happened now is not such a big surprise. It's actually following a pattern that Xi Jinping started as he took over in 2012. Then he said he will clean up his party system of all corruption. Once you start take out such a jhadu over corruption, then you can sweep whoever you want. In the process, you might catch some people who are corrupt, but it also gives you the leeway or the option or the space to also sort out those who you see as your rising challengers. And that is where any cliques that form, that is one of the allegations against Zhang as well, that he was forming cliques. I will tell you more about that. Any cliques that form, any power groups that form, they can also be removed. They can also be purged on grounds of corruption. So this process has been going on. If I read stuff that's coming out of China, and this is well-informed stuff, according to Neil Thomas, who is a researcher on Chinese politics at Asia Society, 29 of the 44 uniformed members of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China at last year's meeting were found to be missing. They've either been purged or they are missing. That is nearly 2/3 of them. 2/3 of them are gone. The fourth plenum of this Central Committee, which took place between October 20 and 23 last year in 2025, it was the lowest turnout since Mao Zedong's death in 1976. Of the 205 original members and 171 alternate members, only 168 original members and 147 alternate members came, which means that 61 members were missing of the 376 in all. Only 315 were present. 61 were missing. This is 83.8% attendance. The lowest before that was at the third plenum in 1978 of that Central Committee, where 84.4% had attended. So this was even lower than that. I'll take you now to help us understand the charges against Zhang. I will take you to the story by Ling Wei and Chunhan Wong in Wall Street Journal. This is just a couple of days back. They say, first of all, that there is suspicion that Zhang was leaking technical secrets of the nuclear program to the US, and also he was taking bribes for official acts, including promotion to defense minister, promotion of an officer to defense minister. That, as I said, sounds like Li Shangfu, which happened in his time. And this is something that they say was disclosed in a Saturday morning briefing to top Chinese officials by the party high command, parts of which have leaked to the Wall Street Journal. I don't know if they've leaked or they've been deliberately leaked. I don't know. The journal story says that Zhang was accused of forming political cliques. Political cliques are like networks of influence, right? You do something for somebody who does something for you, then you do something for somebody else, and then you help each other. And these are the cliques that anybody sitting on top of the system will be very worried about or insecure about. He's been accused of taking huge bribes in procurements when he headed the procurement agency, particularly in research and development of military hardware, research, development and purchase of military hardware. And some of this evidence, the story tells us, some of this evidence came from another top official who was arrested last Monday. That is Gu Jun. Gu Jun was the general manager of China National Nuclear Corporation. General manager in this case obviously indicates a much higher rank than GM would mean in India. China National Nuclear Corporation is in charge of all civil and military nuclear programs in China. Investigations into Gu Jun started last Monday on charges including, and I quote, severe violation of party discipline and state laws. Apparently or allegedly, Gu Jun in his investigation linked Zhang with security breaches in the nuclear sector, and that led to this meltdown. The Wall Street Journal reached out to the Chinese embassy in Washington. The Chinese embassy told them, and I quote, "This is a full coverage, zero tolerance approach to increasing corruption." This has been the most aggressive dismantling of the Communist Party leadership system since Mao Zedong. That's what all the China watchers are telling us now. This has led to the departure of many Politburo members and princelings, as I had said earlier. The Central Military Commission in the process has actually been annihilated. Most of its people are gone. Only sort of 1.5 are left. Xi Jinping, of course, will be left. And the junior most member of the commission, Li Shangfu, the former foreign minister, he disappeared in 2023. And the current investigation against Zhang is supposed to go back to his tenure as the Shenyang military region commander in 2007-2010. 12, it goes that far back. Again, the story tells us that the investigators have now gone to the northeastern Chinese city of Shenyang to find more facts. However, as they've gone there, they are not staying on the military base there because Zhang might be having loyalists or friends there, because this is a clique versus clique business. They are staying in private hotels outside of the military campuses. Mobiles of all those who worked with Zhang and Liu Zhenli have already been seized. Now, if we see all the analysis that's coming out, will this weaken the PLA? Does this weaken Xi Jinping? So certainly from whatever I read, it looks like this will only strengthen Xi Jinping further, because he has shown that he can get rid of anybody. There are no other power centers in the Chinese Communist Party, or no challengers today or likely even tomorrow. This will be a deterrent for others also. So this is not an act of weakness, it's an act of strength, because in public opinion, he is going after rampant corruption, entrenched patronage and compromise of state secrets, which are seen as existential threat to the Chinese government, to the Chinese government and party, and also undermine China's ambition, or Xi's ambition, of gaining control over Taiwan. Since 2023, Xi Jinping has already gotten rid of more than 50 top military officials or defense industry executives. More than 50. They've either been punished or purged, or they've disappeared or gone into oblivion. This includes the heads of theater commands, including the Taiwan Theater Command, Zhang Shengmin, who survives and who, as I mentioned to you, was only inducted in the CMC last October. He has spent his career as a political officer and a discipline inspector. You know what that means. So he's the only one who survives in the CMC along with Xi Jinping. And once again, in a Jan 17 story, Wall Street Journal's Chonan Wong, he reported that in 2025, 9.83 lakhs, that's almost 1 million Chinese officials or party senior leaders, senior personnel had been reprimanded, suspended, demoted, expelled or punished. And for that, the party released data. This was 10.6% more than the already record figure of 2024, which means Xi Jinping is really going after what he sees as corruption in his party. People's Daily, the mouthpiece of the Chinese Communist Party, wrote an editorial on this, confirming this, and they said it is the networks that these people have run. These have led to a good scripture to become twisted, which loosely will be translated as China's story getting undermined. And alongside this, the Chinese TV, state TV, ran a four-part documentary on corruption in the system, which was filled with live confessions, recorded confessions from top officials, including a former agriculture minister and a former top banker who had become a politician and a regional leader. And this documentary said that the effort is to go after the phenomenon called encirclement hunting. Encirclement hunting means you give something to somebody, who gives something to somebody, who gives something to somebody. All of you know, some mile hue hain, everybody is corrupt, everybody is on the take. So you share what's available and set up these networks which also provide group protection to each other. That is what the Chinese state TV says Xi Jinping is going after now. And it's this process that the latest bloodshed has taken place. Now, watch this space, because this cannot continue like this. Chinese CMC, Central Military Commission, can't just have 2 members, including the president himself. There will be people appointed, and they will be people appointed, and the world will be watching as to who gets appointed in these positions now. Because remember, among the people removed in the past are former defense ministers Wei Fenghe, Li Shangfu. Wei Fenghe was in fact a general from the rocket forces. Rocket forces are very prestigious in China. And now you have General Zhang going out and these allegations in the air that he leaked nuclear secrets to the Americans. These are really serious developments in the Chinese Communist Party and the Chinese PLA at the very top. And these have deservedly drawn the world's attention. If at all, these were competing for headlines with Donald Trump's speech at Davos last week.